Um, There was testimony last night about the fire that occurred at the Fulton compressor station in December 2009.
Stewart.
Thank you, Stewart. The testimony was that there happened to be an employee at the site who discovered the fire. Is that correct?
No, he came to the site and the fire was there.
He came to the site and found that the fire was burning.
Correct.
Do we have any idea how long the fire was burning before he got there?
Sometime between the last visit of the last employee and then. I don't know when it started.
Do we have any idea when the visit of the last employee might have been there?
Yeah, I guess if I went back to 2009 and found out what their rounds were and who was on.
Just some idea of how often.
I'd say anywhere 8 to 10 hours.
8 to 10 hours. So the 911 call was placed at about 7:30 in the morning?
Yes.
Okay, so the night before, essentially.
Yeah, it could have been 2 o'clock in the morning.
Okay.
I mean, it's hard to say.
So we don't really know exactly how long that fire was burning for.
Correct.
Are there any safeguards in place?
Yeah, that particular unit sits away from everything else because it is an ambient pressure system. It is primarily glycol with trace hydrocarbons, and it has a fire right inside of it. And so therefore it is out away from, structurally away from any of the, what we call gas source, the flanges, the high pressure gas, the compression, things of that nature. So we keep it away from all that stuff so that it's by itself.
So if it catches fire like it did in December of 2009, there's no smoke detector?
No,
There's nothing that's going to notify emergency personnel that there's a fire burning in the station?
not at the DHI unit, no. There are throughout the compressor buildings.
So you're explaining to me that it's far away, so it could burn, you're telling me, and not
Hurt.
hurt anything.
Correct.
It could just burn.
Well, it'll only burn to the hydrocarbons that are residual that are gone.
Could it explode?
No.
Could the wind pick up a spark and blow it into the woods and set the woods on fire?
Oh, I'm sure that's a possibility in any fire.
Right. So it'll just burn until somebody gets there the next time around.
Yes.
Right. What about the other, you're saying this one is separate, what about the other area? If that catches fire, is there some kind of alarm, smoke detector?
Yeah, there's actually UV-IR detection,
What's that?
ultraviolet infrared,
And what
and
happens?
those are 2 components of flame for fire, and it actually physically shuts the facility in, blocks it in, and evacuates all the gas from the facility.
So is there the potential that that could explode?
In any situation with gas is flammable, gas is at high pressure. It can explode just as your home could with natural gas in your home. It's actually, the biggest difference is probably our employees look out for things like that.
If they're there.
Oh yeah, it's an unmanned facility.
Right. So if there's nobody there, it could burn and it could explode.
We don't have any storage within the gas. So if there's something that actually creates a hazard that would create a shutdown, that facility will block in. The valves on the inlet and the valve on the outlet will close. Then there's valves throughout the entire facility that will open up and take the gas away from the site into what we call our vent separator and evacuate all the gas from the facility.
A lot of us are concerned about a lot of things about these compressor stations. One of the things being the fact that they are unmanned and the potential for the dangers of the site. There was a fire today at a gas well site that I have photos of that I'd like to submit. My understanding from a DEP representative was that how this fire started was that condensate leaked out of the tank. There are tanks like this at the compressor station, is that correct?
Yes.
condensate leaked out of a tank, and the fumes settled over a impoundment. Is there an impoundment on the site?
No.
In this case, they settled over an impoundment, and then something turned on and sparked and caused an explosion that sort of looks like 3 Mile Island.
Yeah, I think so.
Can I see the
Do you know where it was? I saw this, I saw the smoke this morning myself.
Yeah.
And it was,
That looks
where would it be?
So this is in Hopewell Township.
Township.
It's off of D44. I don't know the unit. I tried to find out the name of the unit.
Close to Breezy Heights.
Before Breezy Heights on D44, that restaurant that used to have the big chicken,
Yeah.
it's behind there. It's over the hill from there. These were taken up on the hill there.
Greg, did they said the frac pond is on fire there?
Yes.
That's all I have. Did you have a question for me, Cindy?
That was a well site, is that?
That was a well site with a condensate tank, and the condensate tank leaked fumes, is what I was told by the DEP.
What I have, the information I received on that was that a frac pit was on fire. And that would have been,
tank on fire.
that would have been the flow back from the, what with the frac waters that had been in the ground, that would have been entrained with gas back to the pit. And my understanding was that pond was ignited. That was what I understood.
The frac water is 91% water and it ignites.
No, it has sheet. And you're going to have, when you flow back out of the ground out of gas, you're going to have hydrocarbons. I mean, that's life. That's why they separate it. They do the best they can with it. They had it on site.
Anyone else have questions for Mr. Sullivan? Yes.
I just have one more question.
Name, please.
Nadia Weir, 54 Main Creek. In hearing about the special considerations that were done for the Gardner site and that were requested for the Colton site, I would also like to request that it be done for the Stewart facility, since there are 6 or 7 of us right around it. It's possible, the special consideration piece that we spoke of, which I never knew about till last night. I don't know who would address that.
I would say that I will talk to Brian and the different people and see what that special consideration is.
Okay.
Because I'm not aware. I mean,
The
I heard the
extra-
testimony yesterday, but that was the first time.
Insulation, whatever the extra pieces.
I
The
looked
whole picture gets in there if it does. Believe it.
Well, I mean,
We hear you.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to mention it because I didn't know.
Yeah, it wouldn't be for one or the other.
Okay, thank you. That's all I wanted to ask, thank you.
yes.
Anyone else?
One more.
This past week, Brian, John Mollenkoff, and Greg met with a zoning advisory committee that was working for Mount Pleasant Township to create a draft ordinance. During that meeting, there was discussions about future compressor stations. We know that the township has been approached about putting one on the Thomas property, which was about, Larry measured it 1,200 feet from the school property. Are you aware of that?
I pretty much find out about them after when they say, hey, this is where we're going.